Hi guys, today let's talk about colors. This is just going to be a really low-key chat and paint, and we can talk about one of my favorite topics about creating artwork, and that is picking colors. I love how influential colors can be on how you feel about a piece, what kind of atmosphere and mood it has, what story you're telling, how to guide the eye with colors. There's just so much that you can say with the colors that you pick. And I love being able to just really delve into that and figure out the ideal color palette for a piece to really maximize that storytelling that I want to create in all of my pieces. One of my favorite ways to build a color palette is actually to choose a single color that I want to build the whole piece around. That doesn't always work depending on the piece that I'm working on, but this one in particular worked great because I was painting a couple vampires. So I knew that one of the really iconic colors that we associate with vampires is red, but I wanted the red to be a little bit different so that it would have kind of its own flavor to it. And the way that I chose to do that was I chose to do more of a cool red, so one that leaned a little bit more on the magenta side of the red scale. But ultimately that was kind of the cornerstone color for this piece. This is the color that I compared everything to and balanced everything out with so that it would have the right contrast that I wanted, and then everything just all brought itself back to that red. That's one of my, like I said, one of my favorite ways to do it. It really helps to simplify when I'm looking at a piece and I don't have this core color to choose from. I find that I often get really overwhelmed with choosing too many colors or too many colors that are divergent and sending the concept in different directions, and they're just not quite coming together. And when I take a step back and decide what's that main pillar color that I'm going to build everything around, that helps me so much to be able to make everything make sense and to give me a direction to go in. And very rarely is there a single color that's the right color to choose for this kind of technique. This piece in particular, because it was a specific type of character and it was so iconic, it was kind of a no-brainer, but I could have thought of different other options. But with other pieces where I am maybe more focused on a mood or a feeling, I could focus on creating different color palettes that centralize around different colors that would have different feelings. So using an amber golden color would have a very different feel than something that's a little bit more blue. And honestly, this is my my opinion on this, but I feel like many different colors can portray different emotions in different contexts. So I don't really see blue as being like a sad color, or golden light being necessarily happy if it's combined in a way with different colors and different themes and images. I think that you can really create different moods with completely different color palettes, and I find that really exciting to be able to really delve into what makes something feel a certain way. How can I find ways to convey that feeling to the viewer of the piece in a unique way? I don't know, I just find that really exciting and powerful to think about how many options there are to really be able to tell the story that you want to tell and portray that emotion that you want to say with your pieces. For this piece that I'm working on, I chose to lean more on telling the story of where they were at and the time of night that it was, and creating a little bit more of an environment than necessarily the mood specifically. So that's why I chose to lean more with cool colors overall. So even the warm colors that are present in this piece are cool leaning, like that red that I talked about, where it's more of a magenta kind of red rather than an orange red. And because I knew that I wanted it to be nighttime and to have these cool colors in there, I was able to build up my color palette around a cool red. And I wanted to have these contrasting blues and slightly blue purples in the background. And again, that just helped me build up this color palette around a specific color and a specific environment. And it made it a lot easier to come up with the colors than if I was just going in blind and kind of poking around, seeing what seemed to work, which is something that I do a lot. And it usually ends up being a waste of time. If I can reel it back in and create a little bit more of this focused thoughtful way of approaching the colors, it helps me to be able to think through it a lot better. Depending on how complex the pieces that I'm working on, I'll spend more time working on a color comp. But for a piece like this where it was smaller and I was going to be spending a little bit less time working on it than, say, a really large piece, I like to let the colors develop a little bit on their own as I'm working on the piece. So I'll color comp everything out as far as the basic colors and the values so I know that things will read correctly. And then from that point on, I really like to just let the watercolors do their thing. I can pick from different colors and mix them together and blend them in different ways, and it's just a really exploratory way of taking a finalized color comp and turning it into something that's its own thing in that final version. And I love the opportunity to be able to lighten that up a little bit more. I know that a lot of us probably work much more free form where you can just kind of go with the flow, and I love looking at artwork that's created that way. I wish that I could lean a little bit more that way, but I tend to be someone who needs to have it all figured out. So when I can interject a little bit of looseness and freedom to the way that I paint the colors, I usually enjoy that. I usually really enjoy that. But again, that key thing for going that path and creating a successful piece still is to know the values, because the values are things that the eye reads first before the colors. And as long as the values are strong and you have the contrast where you need it to be, then it doesn't actually really matter what colors you're putting down to a degree. It doesn't really matter as far as the readability of the piece. That's actually something that I've been really wanting to enhance in my prep work before I start working on a final piece. I would really like to spend more time working on just a grayscale value study of what the piece is going to look like. I do feel like that's probably the weakest link as far as what I do before I work on a piece, what I plan for before I start it. I would love to be able to have a better grasp on where the values are going to be. Like I said, that's the key component that visually our eyes are reading out of colors. So start with the values if you want it to be really good and sharp and have the right contrast and everything. I do try to make sure that the contrast is correct, but yeah, that's a skill that I would love to enhance. Back in school, that was actually part of almost any assignment that was creating color comps as well as value studies, and then picking one of each of those and then melding them together and creating that final design that has both the colors and the values all figured out. And yeah, there's a lot of components like that that really go into creating a successful piece that I need to get back into. But anyways, that is a total sidetrack from talking about colors. But it is kind of I think it's the unsung hero of colors that a lot of us artists forget to think about when we're planning things out, because the colors are just so exciting and fun, and they create the atmosphere and the feeling and the mood, but then the values do too. So, well, they really, really do, especially the mood, I find. I find that when I have a specific idea for the colors from the very beginning, I have a hard time straying away from that when I'm working on figuring them out in the color comp. And I think that is something that I would like to expand my horizons a little bit more. I think it's just that I have a specific idea that I really attach to as I'm working on the sketch, and then when I'm working on the color comps, I think that I get a little lazy with them because I feel like I already see it in my head. I've already figured it out, so I don't put as much into these other options. And I would really like to do that more. I'd like to be able to really fill out different options, different moods and atmospheres that I could create with the colors. So I think that's probably some homework that I should give myself. Is I think I should be creating more color comps, more variations, more completely different approaches to the way that I'm doing the colors and the values than the way that I do now, which tends to be very, very linear. I have an idea, I stick to it, I try different things out a little bit, but not nearly as seriously as I would like. I would love to hear from you guys. How do you like to come up with your color palettes? Do you like to look at other artists and pick apart their palettes? Do you just have it come to you as you're working on your sketches? Is it something that's really a difficult task that takes a long time? Is it just something that innately just pops into your head? I'd love to hear it. I would love to hear how you guys interact with colors when you're working with them. And this piece is the exclusive postcard for the month of June. So if you'd like this print, then make sure to sign up for the $10 tier or up over on my Patreon. That is by the end of June 30th. Make sure that you get it, you get that locked in. But yeah, I do want to give a huge thank you to everyone who did vote on the Patreon poll for this month. Going into next month, there will be another poll. So if you'd like to stay on top of getting to have some feedback in what themes I'm working on, make sure to go sign up for Patreon over there. Every patron gets to vote on those. But that is it for today. So thank you so much to all of my patrons. You guys are amazing. I have the link to my art shop in the description if you want some open edition goodies down there. But that is it for today. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.